It's not showing up on LinkedIn Live yet.
Welcome to Friday Vibes. No script, just chat. We talk all things food and beverage and so much more. Feel our vibe and search for Friday Vibes on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And make sure to give us a 5-star review. Now your hosts, me, Alex Baer with Genius Juice, and Wade Yeti. Welcome to episode 58 of Friday Vibes. I'm your co-host with a new t-shirt I'm going to debut very soon of Friday Vibes, Alex Baer, Genius Juice. And to my left, your right, Wade Yeti. How you doing, buddy?
Good. How's it going, Alex?
It's going good. I just got to first brag about we're having our Friday Vibes happy hour at Expo West, which is going to be Thursday from 4 to 6 p.m. We posted on LinkedIn. We'll post it again. Make sure to come by. We're going to have Genius Coladas. We're going to have some hop tea there. We're going to have some other mixed mocktails, but also the first 18 people, I got to say, the first 18 people, because we made 20 shirts, but me and Wade are both getting one, right? So you get one of these. You get one of these. And also on the back, boom. Boom.
It's hard to see. It's covered by the microphone, but
okay. Well, you'll see in person. Yeah.
You'll see it in person. And while we're giving those away, we'll happily accept donations because we've put our hard-earned cash into it, right?
Exactly right. Yeah. So donations start at let's just say it's north of $10 and south of $1,000. So whatever you feel, we'll get some Genius Coladas in you, and then you can make the donations. How about that?
Like it. I like it.
Cool. All right. So some laundry list items. By the way, I see a lot of comments already rolling in right now. Some laundry list items. 5 stars. Give us 5 stars on Apple Podcast. We are at, last time I checked, I think 76, on our way to 100. So make sure to support us in that way. And then also, if you'd like to be a guest, there's how you do it. He's showing you. Boom. And that is us on the cover page. It's a digitally enhanced version of us. We're already beautiful, though. So we look good on there. We look good in person. We look good through here. And and if you want to be a guest on our show, or if you'd like to sponsor, email us Friday Vibes, plural, 100, the number 100, at gmail.com. There's a tie-dye cup sighting right there.
There it is.
So yeah, excited about Expo. It's your first Expo West, right?
Yeah, it's my first official Expo West. We were talking a little bit before the show that, in previous positions, I've been to plenty of Kehe shows. I've been to plenty of shows across the board, but for various reasons, most recently the pandemic and the job change, I have not officially been to Expo West. So this will be my first venture there. We're looking forward to it. And we have, Alex mentioned, the happy hour. We have the rally in the alley, whatever it's called, right? With Startup CPG. We've got that going on. I'm going to be catching up with the Jimbo's crew and some folks while I'm there. I'm just looking forward to the community aspect and just seeing probably for the first time a lot of people that I've interacted with over the last 5 years, but haven't met in person. That's what I'm probably looking forward to the most.
Yeah, I would say that if I describe Expo West in 2 words, it'd be productive chaos. It's productive because you do a lot of networking. You meet a lot of people, a lot of colleagues that you've only known through LinkedIn, right? That you've never met in person. They're going to be wanting to meet you, and you're going to meet them. So It's going to be really cool because you built a little bit of a, I would say we built some kind of a following on here. We're not Joe Rogan yet, but we're getting there in the CPG world with the CPG Joe Rogans here. And I would think that a few people or more may stop you, Wade, because they'll recognize you from this show, from LinkedIn. I think my bet's right. Would you say so?
I've been advising people to look for the bald head, and
Yeah.
I'm still debating what my attire is going to be there. There may be, I haven't decided yet. There may be a giveaway, not what you're wearing currently, but something that will give away that I am who I am. So we'll see. I'm just looking forward to it. We talk about the happy hour. We're 6 days away, right? Because it was a week ago yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And actually being on site, I'll be there on Tuesday. So it's going to be great. It's going to be great.
For sure. And just to reemphasize, one of my early sales managers said, tell them what you're going to tell them. Tell them. That's number 2. Number 1, tell them what you're going to tell them. Number 2, tell them. And then number 3, tell them again. So I kind of told you what we're going to tell you. Now I'm going to tell you happy hour, be there 4 to 6 p.m. Thursday nightish. It's going to be at the North Hall at the Startup CPG booth number N1210, if my memory serves me correctly. And be there. Me and Wade will be there. We'll have a bunch of brands there and buyers, and come on by. So, and I'll be posting another reminder on LinkedIn sometime early next week. Yeah. All right. Well,
and I was going to say, we talked about, I don't know if we want to tip this off too early, but we are logistics pending, technology pending, thinking about doing a live show.
Yeah, that is something that we got to see how the sound is, because, it's not like we're doing the Today Show here, right? Where we have like everything's mic'd up. There's boom mics, there's cameras everywhere. We have maybe the budget to afford one Amazon mic for $110, right? That lasts us for 5 years. So we're going to be really working hard to do a live show at the Startup CPG booth, us two, and we're going to be bringing on in rotation different owners, different investors, buyers, just to share their story with us. Again, like Wade said, logistics pending, because it may just be too loud and we may not be able to do it. So we'll see.
Yeah. So we've got, as you mentioned, a lot of comments to go on here, and
yes,
you can scroll back, but one that we're going to probably need to get to. Well, I'll drive here for a second just to show, real quick, because I've been trying to keep up here. We've got Stephanie, we've got Dima,
Steph.
We've got Gavin. Gavin, we'll get to you in a second. We've got Steven from Crossmark on here. Steven. Rich is asking about the status of the new podcast name. So Alex, I'll let you touch on that.
Sure. So we have narrowed it down, as mentioned, to 3 names. This is, you're probably going to be very disappointed with this answer. It's like I'm telling you what I've already said last week, and there's no new news right now. It's down to either Friday Vibes, keeping it what it is, or CP Genius, which is number 2. And then number 3 is going to be CPG Vibes. So we have those 3 that we narrowed it down to. We are not making a final decision until next week, and we will debut it at Expo West at the happy hour while we're selling you t-shirts.
That's fantastic. Okay, we'll keep going, because Danny Stepper, do you know Danny? Okay,
LA
from
Libations.
LA Libations.
They invested in, and also they're partners now, I should say, with High Touch Distribution.
Right,
so
on.
That's pretty cool. I think it's called High Touch Libations now, I believe.
Right.
I believe.
Rich says that your official Rich Insights Yetis in the mail, which I use every day, no lie, every day.
Thank you.
Thank
you, Rich.
Mike Fata, whose book is going to be debuting at Expo West, and I saw a few posts where he's already number one on Amazon.
Congratulations!
So, congratulations, Mike. Looking forward to that. Let's go ahead here. What I wanted to get to. So Danny had some news that he asked if we wanted to break some news on the show, and I said sure. There it is.
Nice. So Sprouts is exhibiting in LA Libations Alley. First retailer ever to exhibit at Expo, to my knowledge. There it is. News drop right here. All right. So booth 5044. That's in is that in hall E? That's in like the basement, right? In the main hall, Danny, if you correct me if I'm wrong. All right. So more comments. Wade, we can kind of scroll through.
Yep.
Let's see how many are left. How many here?
We've got a couple votes coming in for the different names. So
CPG vibes winning.
CPG.
We let the people have spoken, but not
Right.
to say we made our final decision, but let's just say they are pushing us, collectively pushing us towards that direction. So I like CPG vibes. That's a cool name. So,
Yeah.
all right, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Danny is also putting his number here, right? You guys can call me and patch me in if you want. Wow. So this is a first for our show where he is asking to be patched in live. I don't know how
I was going to say, are we smart enough to do that?
I don't know. I mean, I don't have my phone near me right now, but that's a first for the show. Danny, I got something better for you. Let's talk more about maybe there's a way to get you on here.
Well, I was going to say I could send him the StreamYard link on a LinkedIn message.
Yeah, you know what?
I'll do that.
Let's do it. Let's freaking do it, man. I mean, no script, just chat. We're going to bring someone on impromptu. See,
Danny, I'm going to send this to you here shortly. Danny, check your direct messages on LinkedIn. I'm sending you a link. Go to the link and we'll patch you in.
You ask and you shall receive. But when you're Danny Stepper and you ask, you're more likely to receive. I will say that. Yeah, he has a lot.
Look at Tom Malengo.
Friday CPG vibes. So he's combining fancy.
That's crazy.
All right. So while we're waiting for Danny to come on here for his impromptu, let's talk about just what's going to be happening at Expo and really who we're going to be visiting. How's it going to work? Where are we going to go? I, for one, I'm going to be presiding primarily, and unless I want to go to the basement and Hawley in the main hall. North Hall to me is really cool. There's a lot of really emerging brands, newer brands. It's called the Hot Products Pavilion. I'm a big fan of the North Hall, and it's also easier to get to, in my opinion, than the main hall. But the two places that I like to go, me and Wade were talking right before this, is going to be the basement in the main hall, which is downstairs, the escalator, or the North Hall. Those are the two. But really, the reason I'm going, besides for all the reasons we already mentioned, is I just want to see what is trending. Like, I know that's just such an obvious thing to say. What is trending? We're coming out with our new Genius Wellness shots. How are mushrooms doing? How are functional ingredients doing? I really am curious to learn more about cognitive. Where is that going? Where is that category going? How hot is it? What kind of brands are coming out? So I'm going to be more of like kind of the undercover studying the trends kind of guy to see what is next. But Wade, again, as mentioned, you got a busy schedule in or around Expo, and you got the breakfast, you got the dinner grill with Jimbo, and by the way, okay, we're going to pause here. Danny just hopped on. Let me add him on here. All right. First time ever, we're bringing someone on that just asked. No scheduling, no script. Here he is. Danny.
How's it going, Danny?
What's up, fellas? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Loud and clear.
Wow.
Welcome.
Tech savvy. This is awesome.
Welcome to the show.
We make it happen instantaneously. So are you in the office or are you at home?
No, I'm in LA Libations right now here in El Segundo. Been a busy week getting ready for Expo, like you guys, I'm sure. But I love what you guys are doing. I just tuned in because I saw it real quick on LinkedIn, and I just wanted to say I love it. I know you asked me to be on a while ago. I'd love to come on and sit down and we can do a deep dive. But yeah, good to see you guys. And Wade, I've never met you live. I can't wait to meet you next week in Anaheim. So
definitely. We've done business in numerous places, but we haven't met live. It's great to meet you. I don't want to let you jump off. You dropped a little bit of a news break bombshell flash. So tell us what you're allowed to tell us or permitted to tell us with regards to Sprouts, is what's going on at Expo and what's kind of the mindset behind what they're doing.
Yeah, so I'm permitted to do what I want to do, but look, everybody knows we have a really close relationship with Sprouts, up and down the organization, and innovation is so key for them. And we have our innovation program with them, and I think we've launched a brand every month for the last 6 months with them, and that will not slow down. It'll actually speed up. So we're very close with them. And LA Libations Alley, I don't know if you've been there before, Alex, but it's our Super Bowl, right? It's a big deal for us. We invest a lot of money and time and resources into it, and it's worked really well for us in the past. We have a lot of retailers obviously coming by, distributors, even though we own our own distributor now with High Touch Libations with our investment in that company, which is super exciting. And Sprouts said, hey, look, normally retailers walk around the show and they turn their badge backwards. That's what they all do. And they said, we want to do something a little different this time. We want to kind of open up shop. And, we have, I don't know, 15 booths or whatever. And we said, come join us. So Sprouts has a foraging team that's really interesting. They named Kim Coffin the chief foraging officer, and we work hand in glove with her. And so their whole team's going to be there. They're doing a town hall as well, which I encourage everyone to go to. But when the town hall is not happening, they're going to be camped out with us with their own, 10 by 10, and we'll be willing to, visit with entrepreneurs and brands. And I think it's going to be really unique because, as you guys know, retailers all try to figure out what's happening at Expo West. No one's really done a cannonball into it. And I would argue they're the first ones that are like doing a cannonball into it by setting up shop and saying, by the way, they're going to walk around the whole show and visit everyone's booths, that are on this and everyone else's booths. But they're also saying, look, if we don't get to you, come to us. And it's going to be mayhem because, we'll have Emma Chamberlain and Gwyneth Paltrow. We'll have all the noise that we normally have, but they're going to be there, posting up, and everyone's welcome to come and hang out with them. And we'd love to meet everyone as well.
So I wanted to kind of pause and go back to a couple things. Booth 5044, is that in the basement? Is that Holly?
It's in the basement, and let me just look at it. So my team's telling me right now we're in 5043, 5044, 5055, 5056. So we have like two sides in the basement. And I think, I don't know how many booths it is actually when you like add it all up, but we'll have a nice presence. And it's for Dino and Pat and I, it's very an emotional time because we remember the first time we went to Expo West, we begged Jim Tonkin to steal some badges for us. We couldn't afford them when we started the company, and we went through, and Dino and I walked the whole show, and then we were walking out, and Jim grabbed us. You guys must know Jim Tonkin, and he grabbed us.
Yep.
And so, where are you guys going? Like, you can't leave yet. You just got here. And we were there for like 5 hours. Our feet were tired. And he's like, I thought you guys were entrepreneurs. Get back in there. And so we did. We went back in there for 2 more days. And now it's literally like a pillar of everything that we do as Expo West.
Yeah. Jim is, he was he's the emeritus chairman of our advisory board. I met him back in 2014. And I also met Mark Rampolla through Jim at some point as well, way back when we started the company. And I would term him as tough and fair, like tough and fair. Like he'll push you sometimes beyond your limits if he believes in you and he knows there's something great that you can do. And he was one of the best advisors we've ever had. And he also taught me the whole inch wide, mile deep thing. That was him. I'll credit him for that. I also mentioned him on Shark Tank as well, but his name got edited out. I swear to God. Like I said, Jim Tonkin, my advisor, taught me inch wide, mile deep. I was saying that to Rohan on the show, and they edited out Jim Tonkin. I'm like, you freaking good people. But so Expo West.
I don't know if he'd be on here. I'm not sure he knows how to turn his computer on, but he's an awesome guy.
Yeah, for sure.
He's retired 5 years in a row, but he's still not retired.
He doesn't retire. He never gives up. He just keeps going. Yeah. So, and then you said you mentioned you name dropped. I just got to come back to this as well for everyone listening. Gwyneth Paltrow, she's going to be at the show too.
I think so. Look, I can never guarantee her.
Yeah,
but
with a celebrity. Yeah.
she's an investor in Equity.
Oh, okay.
With Quentin, who's a brand that we're very much a part of. It's probably the best founder story that I've ever been a part of. And so she does everything she can to support him. So I think she'll be there with us on Friday, but who knows? No guarantees. You know, these A-listers.
Yep.
You know, things happen, but I think she'll be around and supporting Quentin, and definitely trying to meet with some of our retail partners. So
cool. And then last question I have for you, you know, and again, thanks for hopping on here. 2 questions. Number one, when is the Sprouts town hall meeting? Tom Malengo's asking.
So it's very public. You're testing me now. I believe it's on Thursday, like 12 to 3, but don't quote me. But it's
Okay.
you can Google it and find out. Like, I don't know when or where it is. I'm not going to it. I'll be at our booth, and like our booth, we're covering for their booth while they're going to be at that. But it's very easy to figure that out. Somebody will figure it out and post it, I'm sure, while we're talking. But they're out there. They're doing a town hall. They're going to tell everyone about what they're doing and how important innovation is to them. And they're the best. They're speed to market. It's great. Fresh Market's amazing too, by the way.
Thank you, Danny. I appreciate that.
But they're very much want to be first and to market, and you don't have to wait till next March for a reset. You know, if you have something that's interesting, they can work really fast.
Cool. And, you know, you also touched on it as well. I just got to re-highlight that your partnership with High Touch. We were one of the first 3 brands that High Touch went with back in March of 2015. And I remember Chuck Asano, who owns Bataya Plus. He built that, which is a frozen dragon fruit product that goes in all juice bars. And he also early founder, or one of the founders, co-founder of High Touch. He reached out to me and he said, and at that time we were only in about 3 Whole Foods in Southern California. We just launched in some test stores through our local forager. And he emailed me out of the blue. I didn't even know who he was at that point because I just got in the industry. He's like, "Hey, Alex, we have a distribution company called High Touch. We can help you get into 55 doors of Whole Foods because we have a great relationship with Whole Foods. We love your product. We found it at another shop." And I didn't believe him. I didn't respond to his first email. I thought it was like spam or something. I'm like, this guy's just trying to he's a salesperson. And then he emailed again, Chuck, and he's like, "You really need to respond to me. I'm serious. Like, I can help you get into Whole Foods. We distribute. We're in Southern California." And so the second time I listened, and long story short, they brought in Forager, Genius Juice, and a coffee brand which sold to Pete's. God, I can't remember which one. Revive kombucha, not coffee, kombucha.
Yep.
So we were the original 3 brands to go into High Touch 8 freaking years ago, man. And it's amazing to see that picture on LinkedIn where their warehouse tripled in size. I mean, when I visited High Touch a few months ago, they were bursting at the seams. They had like trailers outside, refrigerated. They were running out of room since they're so popular. And now they have the room thanks to the partnership with the LA Libation. So it's cool to see.
Yeah. So Chuck and Czar are amazing guys. And, you know, we've come across a lot of folks in our path. And, you know, we try to leave everyone that touches our company better off than when we met them. For the most part, we've accomplished that. There's been a couple, you know, relationships that we regret, and just business is hard. This is a hard game.
It happens.
You know, but for the most part, when you find someone like Chuck and Czar, you want to lean in and do more with them. And, you know, we've been a part, you know, I have so much gratitude, but we've been a part of some of the biggest beverage deals of the last decade. You know, we were owners of Zico Coconut Water with Mark Rampolla, Core Water with Lance Collins, Body Armor with Mike Rapoli, you know, Zoa with Dwayne Johnson. We've been a part of a lot of them, but we've never actually invested cash. That's not what we do. We get equity for services, for being who we are and what we do, and we can put top spin on brands big time. But High Touch is different. We made a huge bet. We wrote the biggest check ever. Like, I still don't think Dino's told his wife how big a check we wrote because they might be divorced. So we wrote a big check to invest into High Touch. So we are literally equity owners. We have skin in the game. And the investment thesis that we have is that, you know, they are the supplier of the year every year in Whole Foods SoPac, right? But 90% of their business is Whole Foods, right? And we don't have a big relationship with Whole Foods, never have. But we have, I would argue, some of the best relationships with all the big traditional retailers: Walmart, Kroger, 7-Eleven, Walgreens, CVS, you know. And so the thesis that we have is there's a big white space for entrepreneurs and founders of beverage companies and anything that's perishable, not just beverage, in Southern California. There's just not a route to market.
Mm-hmm.
So the thesis is if we can build High Touch, and we've already got vendor numbers at Ralph's, at Vaughn's, at Sprouts, and all these places. So now we're going to take them from being, you know, a Whole Foods distributor to a distributor for all SoCal. And it's going to take us time to get there, and it's going to be hard, and we're going to fail and fall and trip and all the stuff to get there. But that's the goal, and that's the ambition that we're trying to do. And so brands that want to come over and have a High Touch, you know, beyond, you know, the natural channel, that's where we're going, and that's where we're headed. And it's been an awesome partnership. I mean, we talk to each other 10 times a day, and
Czar likes to talk.
Czar's one of us. I mean,
I love him.
You know, and Pat and I, we grew up in the back rooms of grocery stores. Literally,
Yeah,
we wore
yeah.
uniforms, right? We didn't graduate from college and decide to be like beverage executives. We got in at the very, very bottom, at the lowest level positions, with the Coke bottler here in LA, and met the truck at the back of the store at 4 a.m. And so did Czar, right? Czar worked at Adwala. And so we speak the same language. And it's funny, the things that we were trying to accomplish day ones in our career, like getting more space in a store, that's still what we're trying to do. Even at the level that we're at now, that's all we spend our time doing, is at the point of purchase, getting as much space as we can. And so we created Relentless Trade Solutions to help us with that. Now we have an investment in High Touch. And then once you get it on the shelf, you need, you know, some marketing. So we have LA Vibrations. But anyway, I think this High Touch thing is really exciting because there's such a need for brands in Southern California for a route to market. And hopefully it's not going to happen day one. It's not going to happen overnight. We don't have it all figured out yet. But for brands that want to grow with us and help figure it out together with us, give us a call. It'll be awesome.
So, so Danny, if somebody wants to get in touch with LA Libations, what's the best way to do that?
So I just put my cell number on your thing here. But,
That's an easy way.
Yeah, I was gonna say, there you go. There you go.
Look. So Jack Sinclair, who's the CEO of Sprouts, when he ran all food and beverage for Walmart, he oh, thanks for putting up again. So when Jack Sinclair ran food and beverage for Walmart, no one bought more food and beverage on the planet than Jack Sinclair. And, you know, when Jack left Walmart, he went to 99-cent stores. We stayed and remained very good friends. And then he went to run Sprouts. But when he was at Walmart, and he named LA Libations the emerging beverage category captain many, many years ago, the deal was that we would go out and meet with every entrepreneur. We would go kiss all the frogs and bring him the princes. That's his words, not mine. And nothing's changed. Like, so we will take every meeting. So if someone can't get a hold of us, literally call my cell number. I will call them back. But, you know, we've got 80 people now at LA Libations. I think we've got a bunch of job openings right now as well. So, but the DNA of our company is customers and entrepreneurs. So we want to meet with you, and we'll give anybody an hour of our time. And if they want to talk, and if we think there's some magic and we can help, you know, like I said, our goal is to leave everyone better than, you know, they were before they met us. Hasn't always happened, you know. Business is hard, life is hard, but I'm really proud. I think probably 90% of the time we have done that, and that's our reputation, and that's the lifeblood of our business. And so yeah, so anybody can get in touch with us. Just email, you know, not Danny at LA Libations, email Dan at LA Libations, Dan Weisbeck, that will help me out. But he's running SIP for us now, and we're really happy to have him on the team. And that's really SIP, our SoCal incubation program, which is kind of hard to get into at the moment, but that is the entry point to get in business with us. And that's where things have kind of evolved. That's where Shaka Tea started with us, that exited. That's where Limitless started with us, which exited. That's where Core Water started with us and exited. And so anybody that wants to get in touch with us, we're not hard to find. We're not hiding.
Cool. And I can definitely attest. I remember the first 2 years after starting Genius Juice, I met with, and love this guy. I haven't talked to him forever, but David Minian, right?
David Mignon, David Filet Mignon, as I call him.
Milan, yeah.
Probably the worst day in the history of our company is when he left us.
Yeah.
We've had some people come and go, and
yep.
Most of them are all very replaceable. David Mignon was the best. I text with him every morning at 5 a.m.
Yep.
Gone on to do great things.
He's a CEO of Car Parts. I mean, he's a CEO of a publicly traded company. And I remember he went from being at your office, right, I think he was a VP, right? He was a VP there, to being on CNN or MSNBC being interviewed about car parts, about their pathway, about their trajectory. I'm like, dude, this guy went from a food and beverage guru to a dude on MSNBC talking about his stock. I mean, that's a pretty big.
If he didn't leave, he would have ran our company. There's no doubt about it.
No doubt about it.
He's an amazing guy. He runs a $1 billion publicly traded company, carparts.com. But, when he left, it was when we were going through kind of a very tumultuous time. Coke left us dead by the side of the road. And, it was before the Molson Coors thing happened. But the class that he left with us was, he is an absolute friend for life. And I support him. I would lay down in traffic for him. He's amazing. I don't say that about a lot of people that have left us, but he's definitely one of those guys. He did everything right, class act. But I remember when he introduced us. I remember that vividly. And who knows? We could still work together in the future, man. Who knows? We'll see what happens. But
yeah, the fact that you're dominating, especially. We can go on and on. We have a show to do, but the fact that you're dominating more now than ever, the Southern California region, which is where a lot of brands are incubated and start and really grow, because it's like an epicenter, right, for healthy emerging brands. Your partnership with High Touch really, I think, secures that even further. And I love how you have the distribution side, plus you have Relentless, your merchandising side. And part of the reason it's been tough for us to go to the conventional side is because, it's a whole other conversation, is that distributors that stop and drop, it's tougher to work with them. You got to have a lot of dollars, a lot of money, a lot of merchandisers. You have to have your own staff out there. When you put someone in like High Touch that can go to the shelf and put it on the shelf and has high maintenance or high touch, that really makes it a lot easier to manage your brand, where you don't need to have a person stopping into every single store. High Touch does it for you, which is cool.
So it makes it easier, but I just want to make some clarity. Like, you use the word dominating. Like, we are not dominating. Like, this game is a blood sport, and it's very, very hard. We fail all the time. Of course, we're very good on social media, right? We don't post all the failures. We post all the good stuff. But we are constantly missing the mark, constantly failing. We wake up every morning more insecure and paranoid than anyone. So I don't think that we're dominating. I think we are learning from our mistakes, and we're trying to get better and better. And we're just trying to help entrepreneurs and helping ourselves with our own brands to not remake the mistakes that we made in the past. But I do not for 1 second consider us dominating. We are learning. We're trying to figure it out. But we this is a hard game, as you know.
Yeah, 10 years in.
How many brands, Wade, have you believe we're going to work? There was a time where I thought Chia was going to be the next biggest thing. I would have bet my kids on it, or maybe my dog on it, not my kids. But I would have bet my kid or my dog that Chia was going to be the biggest thing, and it just nothing happened with it. So nobody knows. Nobody has the playbook. You're only as good as your last one.
Yep.
But, we're hungry. We're well capitalized. We have incredible partners. The retailers are rooting for us. We got Molson Coors behind us. We have brands in the Coke system and the Keurig Dr. Pepper system and the Anheuser-Busch system, even from before the Molson Coors deal. So we're hustling. But I just don't want, when you said dominating, like, nah.
Yeah, probably overreach there. But you guys are definitely making a
Doing
lot
well.
of inroads. You're making inroads in SoCal. You're providing resources to get into more stores. And with High Touch, like you said, they were really only in, they were in Whole Foods and other natural stores, Erewhon, Mother's Market, Bristol, Lazy Acres. Now they have an inroads to getting into conventional, which is really, really cool. And hopefully pavilions too, right? Are they working on that?
Stick around. We just hired a new chief customer officer that comes from Albertson Safeway. And so we have some inroads there, but we're going to have to earn it. But guys, I've missed like 3 Zooms on this. This was so impromptu, but so cool.
Yeah.
But that tells you how important the show is, right?
Dude, I love what
Priorities.
I love what you guys are doing. The community, everybody needs to learn from everyone else's trials and tribulations and mistakes. And to me, I watch your show all the time, every Friday, because for me, it just re-echoes like the need for community to like, it's a lonely game, and it's a hard game. So that's why we'd love to help if we can. We can't jump into bed with everybody, but where we can help, we'd love to. And I think you guys are really doing the Lord's work from an entrepreneurial lens, like helping these founders learn from the hard game that this is. So I appreciate you.
Appreciate
it.
Danny, let's I've got your cell. Let's chat. I'm at Expo next week.
I guess everyone has my cell now, but dude, let's hang out.
All right, we will.
All right,
Thanks,
guys.
buddy.
Thanks, buddy.
Take care. Stop
Bye-bye.
by. All right. So back to our scheduled program here. So Danny Stepper, you got a cell phone, reach out to him. And it was really cool. Yeah. Because we'll move on here quickly, but I'm going to put the Friday Vibes logo back up on the upper right. That he welcomed me in 2015 and spent a couple hours in their office just talking with me. We weren't the right fit for them, but they've incubated a lot of great brands in LA, and they're an LA / getting national kind of organization. It's cool. So, yeah, have you ever met Danny in person, Wade? Oh, that was the first time, right?
No, that's it. We did some business. While I was there, I think both members of the team have left that I worked with from LA Libations, but for different reasons, right? I believe both individuals went and opened their own companies. So that says a lot about what they accomplished while they were there. But we started our own innovation program with LA Libations, and it was a lot of fun. So a lot of respect for what they do. When you're in a world of category reviews, and you're in a big chain, and I can't speak to their programs with Sprouts and everybody else that he referenced, but what we were doing is, okay, we're gonna have this cooler, and we're gonna give you 3 months to prove yourself, right? And so we bring 3 or 4 brands in, put them in the cooler for 3 months, see what did promos, did demos, did everything possible outside of putting them on the regular shelf to see what they could accomplish. And then if they performed, we'd put them in the set after that. And that's kind of the program we started. And hopefully that's still going on. But I have a lot of respect for what they're doing. To his point, I'm sure if you pull up their portfolio, there's a lot of brands that haven't made it, but there's, I say it all the time, not every brand's going to be a home run. So if you can weed through and get a double, triple every once in a while, I think you're doing okay.
Yep, exactly right. And I'm a big advocate of like incubation, because that's how Genius Juice started. In a way, we were incubated in different retailers. You start in one location, see how it does. You go to multiple. Whole Foods did that with a local foraging program. We started in 3 stores before going into 55 through High Touch. So I think it's really important that small brands are given a chance on a bigger platform. Some way, somehow, where normally it's really hard for a small brand to get into a large retailer like Sprouts, right? It's really, really hard without having the proven traction, without having tremendous sales data. So I like how Sprouts is doing that, where they do have this little section, right? When you go in their stores, I know Wade, Sprouts is not on the East Coast as much, it's kind of scattered, but out here in SoCal, they're everywhere. And you see this kind of island of like probably 25 brands. I mean, we have Imley is in there, my guy from Imley. We have, what else? We have, I think Equity is in there as well. And then also Forage, right? Forage, Parker's brand is also in there as well. So it gives a lot of small brands a chance on the big stage to see how it does. The only, and I'm always honest. The only challenge, right, with that whole island at Sprouts is that there's like 30 brands kind of mashed together in there. So it's kind of hard to find it.
Right.
But you know what? The way I look at it is if you have great packaging and a great product, someone will notice it, some will buy it. But it is highly competitive to prove yourself in that set, which goes back to what we said before, which is it's a very, very tough business. And I think we talked about different strategies too. I kind of wanted to shift gears as far as distribution strategies. Wade and I were talking earlier today about, this is offline, where should your brand go? Should it be national, where you really look at UNFI, Kehe, DPI, going far and wide eventually and kind of breaking out? Or do you stay being regional, right? And you go with more of the local DSD, the local distributors that are dominate. I'm not going to use the word dominating again, that are making inroads to LA, New York, Texas, Seattle, all these Chicago, all these metro areas. And one thing at Genius Juice that I can openly talk about is we're adjusting our strategy to not go everywhere. We're wanting to get really deep in metro areas, higher income areas, sell there, concentrate there, maybe take a hit on revenue, but you're going to be with DSD partners and direct distributors where you can have less chargebacks and eventually make more money. So I think it's important that if you're going to go national, know what the potential costs could be. What are the potential costs with UNFI, with Kehe, with DPI? Because it could be much greater than what you actually are thinking. So
right. Yeah, we talked about this before the show started. So what you need to do, and hopefully everyone should already be doing this, right? Before, the old strategy was simply the more doors, the better. As many retailers you can get, as many doors you can get, the faster you can grow, the better. But to Alex's point, with every door, there's an expense, whether it's slotting, whether it's a free fill. And when you start doing the math on those things, and really what you should be doing is, okay, obviously my case cost, not the retailer, not the wholesaler, my case cost is this, and do that math on, okay, I've got this many SKUs, I've got this many cases and this many stores, and multiply it out, right? And do that math. And then you throw in the slotting and free fills and all those things and total that up and divide it by your cases to get your real case costs, right? And then kind of do the same exercise on a non-distributor / DSD model and the fees or lack thereof associated with it. I think that's what you have to really do, because to Alex's point, when you start thinking about all that, and you need to look forwardly and see when you're going to get a return on your dollars, right? So if you throw in the slotting and the free fills, the SKUs and all that, and throw that all together and come up with that sum of money and do the same exercise on the DSD side, that's your cost to get in those doors. And so to see when you can get a return, you have to wait for reorders to start coming in, and those reorders have to make up for that initial load in, right? And so depending on which model you go and how those expenses break down, it's really could be eye-opening. I'm not Alex certainly has his point of view, I have mine. I feel like they're pretty aligned, but we're not trying to steer you one way or the other. We're just trying to encourage you to make sure you're factoring all that in and not just seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, which is, I'm going to get 100 stores tomorrow. That's not necessarily a good thing if those 100 stores are going to take you 6 months to recoup your profit, right?
Yep. Exactly right. And one thing that, because we've been plugging High Touch or High Touch Libations, right? Their new partnership name with their investment from LA Libations with High Touch is some brands that are new, right? They look at High Touch and go, wow, I'm going to be paying more margin to High Touch to get delivered by High Touch, right? There's going to be a larger distributor fee. But and if if you go with a national distributor, UNFI, Kehe, whoever, it's a smaller fee. But you also have to keep in mind that you get when they're going to be distributing directly and putting it on the shelf, not as many chargebacks, not as many activating a warehouse, right? There's fees for activating a warehouse for Kehe, UNFI, whoever. So when you, at the end of the day, you have to do the best decision factoring in all of that. And this is, again, we're here not to tell you to go one direction or the other. You do what's best for your business. But what we found at Genius Juice is the reason we're still with High Touch 8 years later in Southern California, and we didn't switch to a national distributor, that we're handled nationally, in Whole Foods, right, with UNFI, right? But for Southern California, and they're great for that. UNFI covers nationally, just like Kehe does. But for really getting into those stores in Southern California, high velocity stores, it's our backyard. We found that even though we're paying more for them to distribute, we're getting more on our check that goes from High Touch, because we're moving more units at the store level, because they're going in there 4 times a week, 3 times a week, and they're restocking. The out of stocks go way down when you have someone touching the shelf literally every other day. And then when we get the check from them, there's no chargebacks at all. There's no chargebacks. So like at the end of the day, if you financially analyze it and not get too excited about the numbers up front, if you look at the long run, I think some brands, not all brands, but some brands may find that they actually are better off with a local distributor versus a national. And that's where you have to really gauge your business model and what's best for you. Maybe Lemon Perfect, they do national distribution because they're huge and they have the money to support it at store level. But for a smaller brand, maybe you want to go more local. So,
well, and the other thing to think about is to your point, you're in Southern California, you're headquartered there. Your biggest footprint is there, and not just you, but some of the other brands you named are using the same distributors, right? So that alone should be eye-opening. If I think you said it, whether it was you or Danny said about being Whole Foods. What was it? Was not brand, but what of the year, distributor of the year, right?
Yep. High Touch. Yep.
I mean, if that doesn't speak volumes, right, as far as why that might happen, it should be eye and ear opening to say, okay, a local Southern California based DSD distributor is again and again and again earning that award, which isn't a paid award, right? I mean, it's earned. There's probably some reason
they earn it.
Yeah, I was going to say there's some reason for that. So it's good exercise, and we've given High Touch a lot of love. I feel like Czar and Chuck. I tagged Chuck here. I didn't tag Czar, but I feel like they owe us one. But kidding aside, for High Touch and SoCal, there are like opportunities, like distributors regionally across the country. You just have to do your work to find who they are. So, and this is by no means a bashing on the national distributors. It's simply you as a brand emerging, starting, what have you. You can grow without overcommitting, and I think that's the key, is to make sure you're not getting cart before the horse. You're doing your due diligence on what's best for your company to grow your business profitably, so that you can win the long game and not just play the short game.
Yeah, exactly. Very, very well said. And sometimes it's okay to go slower, if you're not going to go into a national distributor, and instead of trying to, dominate or take over 5 markets, just do really good in one market, and make it your home market, make it your backyard. And, one other thing I'll mention, not to beat a dead horse here, is relationships at store level are very important as well. This is a click, right? You go into a Whole Foods, you go into a Sprouts, you talk to the dairy manager, you talk to the ATL or the team leader. they want to help vendors and other businesses that they like and they really respect. And so going back to High Touch, right, where their guys are in there 3-4 times a week, all the TLs, all the team leaders, all the dairy managers, they know them. They know them. And so you'll find there's like a whole section that's dedicated to High Touch. It's crazy. Like you look at Koya, Rebel, Genius Juice, Remedy Organic, all these different brands, Poppy, right? That whole set, the High Touch guy goes in and literally the dairy manager is just like, whatever you need to do in that set, just do it. Like, I'm not going to even micromanage you. So now that's all built from relationships. So I think it's important also when you're local in your own backyard, you can physically go in the stores. You can see the people, you can give them some swag, you can ask for better space. You can ask for more facings. It's really hard to do that if we're in SoCal and I want to try to merchandise, a Target in Minneapolis. It's pretty much impossible to do that without paying a lot of money for merchandisers. So I think, and I wanted to ask you, Wade, back in the Jimbo's days, when you were, a buyer, sometimes you're on the floor. Did a lot of salespeople and merchandisers come in developing relationships with your guys? Did you see that happening a lot?
Well, I'd have to defer that primarily to Billy and Jason because they spent more time on the floor than I did. But
yeah,
it certainly happens. It certainly happens with certain companies. You definitely see that a lot on the beer and wine side. As far as those people out there.
Interesting.
Jimbo's is a little different business model with their relationships with the larger distributors because, when you get into, you mentioned, we've talked about so many Whole Foods, Sprouts, et cetera, et cetera. Typically they have a contract and they're locked in with one of the big ones and then they use the local partners. Jimbo's had strong relationships with both the big ones. So they didn't have as strong relationships with the smaller ones. They were, kind of spread out a little bit for everybody. So whereas you go to, and it's been my experience in the past when you have what I would call a primary wholesaler that you have a strong relationship with, and then you have a lot of the regional players, DSD and so on and so forth. It's just depends on where you do business. So did they? Yes. But did I witness it firsthand? Not as much as I did at other places that I've been.
All right. Makes sense. Just wanted to reset the room and then we're going to our next segment. We're just going to keep moving things along here since we're running low on time. A few comments because we want to make sure we shout you out. Andy Kurtz, along with Kirk Visola. Andy Kurtz is with Buttermilk Creative. Kirk Visola is with Mine the Font. Love the Sprouts Fresh Finds. Yep. I remember when the doctor, the time when I found the Sprouts Fresh Finds is when they launched Dr. Bronner's chocolate there. There's a Dr. Bronner's chocolate, believe it or not.
Yep.
I don't know if you've ever tried it, but
it's fantastic. Yep.
It's really good, dude. And, I'm like, wow, this is cool. David Greenfeld, Dream Pops, my guy. We'll see him at Expo. He'll be, I believe, can't remember if he's North Hall or not.
I wanted to make sure we got this one.
Sure. So Christopher Wysog, noob here. Thanks for letting me listen, learn, and lurk. Open any vice too. Can't wait to grow and be in your shoes soon for my own business ventures. Applause, not a beverage. Owner of Bucket of Bread.
Welcome to the show, Christopher.
Yeah, thanks for being here. And if you ever want to sponsor our show with your bucket of bread, just reach out. Obviously, we need to review. We need to try the product. Me and Wade. I can make an exception to have some carbs. I know I'm watching my figure like you are, Wade. But send over some of your product. Congratulations on launching it, and we shall take a look. And then Andy responding, excited to see you guys at Expo. Stop by the happy hour again Thursday. I'm going to tell them what I told them, right? I'm finishing my premonition. 4 to 6 p.m. Thursday at the booth N1210 in the North Hall. All right, so I think we're ready for stuff we love, right?
Yep.
Okay, let's get into it. This is called Stuff We Love, where we talk about stuff we love. We're able to turn up the sound here. You want to take this one first? I see you kind of looking to Renee to get something.
I got it. I got a couple.
Okay.
I got a couple. So I don't know if you got this or not. You might have. This is from I'm probably going to butcher the name. Don Talk, DAAN Talk with Neolea Trading.
I did the salt.
Well, I've got
The
some
olive oil.
I was going to say I've got olive oil and balsamic vinegar.
I got it all. I got it all.
And then I know I've had some other ones this week, but this one is the other one that's we talked about Danos last week. I've been using Danos like crazy.
Yeah.
This is the other one that this fell into my lap.
Is that the French squirrel?
Yes, but this is their her first shelf stable product.
Sydney, right?
Sydney? Yes, Sydney. All the names are in French, so and I'll butcher this too. It's Bisous. It's basically a play off of if you ever had puppy chow, right? It's the you take Chex Mix, peanut butter, powdered sugar, all that stuff. This is a healthier version of it, right? It's got it's dusted in date sugar. The ingredients, a lot of organic ingredients with organic brown rice flour, organic corn flour, organic cane sugar, organic chocolate, on and on and on and on. Healthy ingredients, shelf stable, good stuff. So Renee hasn't tried this yet. I have a feeling this bag is probably going to disappear tonight. So
totally,
that's me. That's what I got.
It's really cool, growing up. I got to say this, that having all the chocolate, all the crap, right? I mean, I'm just going to come out and say it because I have no filter, as everyone knows from all my posts. M&Ms, Mars, Crunch, Twix, all the stuff I used to have in high school and middle school and as a kid, which is not really good for you. And I had the worst one I ever had was Raven's Revenge. You remember that one? Raven's Revenge. This one was a straw of flavored sugar, pure sugar, and you just tear it off with your mouth and you just dunk it in your mouth. So it was pretty intense. So anyway, so that was Raven's Revenge and all that stuff. I love how we now have healthy, better for you, functional chocolate that's out. Like we have that to our choosing. And so like Midday Squares, I crushed a couple of those yesterday. I was doing sales calls in the field. I was starving. I had an orange and Midday Squares, but today I've been crushing this one. I already had one. Taza chocolate. I've mentioned them before on the show. It's like I got to go to Somerville. I got to go to Boston, and ask for their chocolate. So this is amazing. It's stone ground cacao, Taza chocolate. And I also got the olive oil, what you just showed. Really, really good. I actually cooked with it. I cooked for my family. It's the twice a year cookathon by Alex Bear, because I don't usually cook. I need to cook more. And I cook with Dano seasonings, the chipotle, a saute, and I also use the olive oil from, I can't pronounce the name, but you can show it on the screen there. Oh, you're on mute.
I'm saying Neolea.
Neolea. There it is. And it feels like it's ceramic or something, the bottle.
Yeah,
it's really nice.
Very, very upscale, very fancy.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, this must be so expensive just looking at it. I mean, the good way. High quality. That's the better word for it. All right, so that is stuff we love. Now let's go into our next segment. Our sponsor, by the way, we didn't even mention this. So our permanent sponsor is V-Driven. And we apologize. We got sidetracked. We got sidestepped by Danny Stepper.
I was going to say I blame Danny Stepper.
Totally. 100% his fault. We got sidestepped by the Stepper. And we didn't remember to mention our permanent long-term sponsor, V-Driven. A little bit about V-Driven. V-Driven is a CPG partner for emerging, purpose-driven brands. They fuel growth and innovation by providing strategies and support every phase of the retail journey. They help you with sales. They have great relationships with different buyers across the country. They have a whole sales force. So think of them as a master sales organization, but they also manage your books. They're CPG-driven. And they also help fight trade deductions. And there's the website, vdriven.com. You can also reach out to Luke. And I'm sure you're probably ahead of me on that, Wade. So Luke,
yep, I'm working on it. Yep.
Actually, I clicked in the same cell by mistake. So Luke.Abbott, ABBOTT at vdriven.com. All right. Now, next segment is Friday Freebies.
Friday freebies.
All right, so our sponsor for this week, and there's a lot of comments that came in after. Okay, there we go. Is Daily Crunch. Daily Crunch, which you can crunch daily if you so want to. So Wade, I know you're a big fan. I remember when we first met in person, you gave me a bag of the Nashville Hot. I drove down to Carlsbad, and I can tell you that it did not last the trip back. I was scarfing those things down. So,
well, I was going to say, so if that doesn't speak volumes of our friendship, that should, because those at that time were hard to come by.
Yeah.
And I
Rare.
did not share those very much. So so I definitely and I've got some great history with the team at Daily Crunch, Laura Orley, Diane Orley, and Dan Stevenson. I was on the the SKU Accelerator program with them as one of their mentors when they were looking to grow their business, along with a host of other people. And so Daily Crunch, I'm going to read the plug. They make boring, ordinary nuts uniquely crunchy through their patent-pending soak, sprout, dehydrate process. So soak, sprout, dehydrate. In this process, nuts shed phytic acid, which is an anti-nutrient that inhibits digestion, which makes their products more gut healthy and bioavailable. Their hero is the audible crunch that reinforces healthy habitual snacking, thus the Daily Crunch. So for the Friday Vibes peeps, you can find them at Expo West next week at booth N, as in Nancy, 336, where they're going to be debuting their newest salty and sweet flavors. Or you can go get crunching now if you're not going to Expo West, or if you don't want to wait, you can get it sooner by using the code Friday Vibes 20. That's Friday Vibes plural 20 for 20% off on their website. So we have a prize coming, which I'm going to tell you about in a minute, but you can go get your own if you don't win, or if you want it sooner, or if you want both, use that code, you get 20% off. So Laurel, Dan, Diane, thank you for sponsoring. And they're giving away, as Alex kind of alluded to, my personal favorite, which is the Nashville Hot flavor. It's a Nashville Hot. I'm trying to find the link here as I'm talking. Nashville Hot almonds. And let me get it up here for everybody. Let's see. I have
the dailycrunchsnacks.com.
There it is. There it is. So the giveaway is for a 6-pack of the Nashville Hot flavor, the 5-ounce bag. So you'll be snacking for a while. And so, Alex, we got to come up with a question. I kind of had one in mind. It might be too easy, especially if people have been listening. So I'll defer to you. And if not, I'll ask the question. It'll get answered. We'll move on.
I seriously got to keep blaming Danny, because I got so just almost mesmerized from this, this first in history for Friday Vibes of bringing on a guest just from literally saying, hey, bring me on in the middle of a chat, that I didn't write down what a question will be. But I do want to say with one more time, the Daily Crunch snacks, I know there was a lot of food science stuff that was mentioned in their description. They're fucking good. I'm just bottom lining it. They're crunchy. They are delicious. Like some almonds have kind of that rubbery, it's not, these are just crunchy. It has that crunch to it, which really
that's that sprouted aspect that is becoming more and more of a thing that people realize what it is. So, so my question, like I said, I think it's going to be relatively easy.
Sure.
I think we just do it because we're running over anyway. So my question is, our impromptu guest that joined us mentioned the booth, and that's he mentioned 2 different celebrities potentially that are going to show up at Expo West next week.
Oh, I know that one.
Yeah, I was going to see what's going to name one or the other. We'll accept either one.
I'd say 2.
You want to name 2? Okay, you got to name them both, because I don't know the answer
for one.
I don't know the answer to the second one, so I hope you got me.
I totally got it, and I wish that I could win it. I'm like, dude,
you have to know both celebrities. The one, as Alex said, is easy. Name them both.
I said it. I think I said it like 3 times. The one celebrity.
All right, so we got Paltrow, which is right. That's one. Who's the second one?
Okay, you gotta list both in your chat. You can't just win with one. You gotta have two. Gotta have two to win the Daily Crunch.
Ooh.
Gavin Conkle.
But
Yeah.
does that count as oh, there it is. You had two names. Okay. There
Yep,
I was gonna
he
say
did.
I missed the first post.
Yeah,
Okay.
he wasn't the first one, but he got
Got
well.
it.
He wasn't the first Gwyneth, but he was the first Emma Chamberlain. There we
Right on.
go.
Right on.
Gavin is setting records. He's won, I think, 4 times on here. He's fast.
Well,
He's
you know
fast.
what? I don't feel bad letting Gavin win. He wins tonight because he started his new job. He's a VP. I don't know if you
Yep.
caught that, but he's a VP now at True Beverage. So
Congratulations.
yes, congratulations, Gavin. Look forward to seeing you next week, buddy. And yeah, we will. Use the code. Did we put the code in the? I'll put it in the chat if it's not there. I don't know if I did.
No, I did not. I don't prep for anything on the show.
The script is chat.
No script, just chat. So yeah, we will see you at Expo next week. I'll be walking the floor Wednesday and Thursday. I will not be there Friday. Wade, I mean, I'm pretty easy to spot. Wade is a little bit harder to spot, but look for the bald head, as he alluded to. And also, if you'd like to be a guest, you'd like to sponsor our show. Right now, the sponsorships, all it will take is putting up your product. But let's just say there might be some structural changes, right? Because we have a long list of brands that want to be a part of the show. That, when you have a lot of demand, what do you usually do, Wade? You start to kind of think about, maybe we want to be here for the community, but we also got to cover our overhead because we have some overhead now.
That's right. We do.
So, the brands that are lucky enough to get it just for putting up your product, great. But we may have to require something more for you to be sponsoring our show. Maybe something monetary. Who knows? But for right now, we're doing the. It's community based. We want to help you guys out. We're taking the hit on some overhead to support you guys. Reach out to FridayVibes100@gmail.com if you'd like to sponsor or if you'd like to be a guest, and we'll hook you up with the form. And give us 5 stars. Boop, 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 boop. 5. Apple Podcasts. Get us to 100. And Wade, just travel safely out here. I know you got quite a plane flight, and you're going down to SD, San Diego.
Yep.
And heading up the coast. So
I'll work my way
safe.
up. I'll work my way up. Gavin coincidentally donated his prize to Dima. So Gavin, Dima,
that's nice of him.
Do the thing. You know how to do it. Email the show. But yeah, I'll be flying out early Tuesday morning, and look forward to seeing everybody next week. And safe travels. We'll see you there.
Yeah, I'll be rolling out of bed Wednesday at 7:43 a.m. and getting there by 9. So I'm. Is anyone jealous of that? I would be. All right. All right. Take care, everyone. Wade, love you, buddy. Travel safe. Take care, everyone. We'll see you next week at Expo.
See you.